This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. For more great podcasts, head over to bigheadsmedia.com.
Hello, and welcome to Important Interviews. I'm here with the host and co-hosts of the TV Tuners podcast.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, you're not going to say our names?
Their names are Swanson
That's me.
and Stairmaster.
That's correct.
Yes. Two of the hosts, the host and one of the co-hosts, I'd like to point out.
Yeah, Keo said there were some questions he didn't want asked.
Yeah, it was a little bit suspicious, and I'm going to ask a few more questions about that as the interview proceeds. But before that, we just need to break down the concept, first of all, of a podcast. Could you explain for our dear audience exactly what a podcast is and what motivates a man to actually dedicate their time to film, record a podcast?
Well, you see, a podcast is a form of media that is very easy to get into, which is that if you got a microphone,
Okay.
you just sort of place it in front of you, and you talk for a bit, and then you release that.
It's also the last recourse for the chronically unemployed.
That's also correct, yeah.
Interesting.
You see, it used to be back in the day that you could just sort of make a podcast about whatever and be famous off of it, but now famous people have sort of taken it over.
Yeah, like the Billy Joel and the Joel Osteen.
That's right.
So I think we can all agree. We can all agree here that you two host a television podcast.
Yeah, I would say that's right.
Yes, mostly.
So could you go ahead and maybe explain the premise of your podcast? Maybe play a little intro song so that everyone can understand exactly what that podcast is about.
Oh, that brings me back.
Hi there, folks, and welcome to TV Tuners. It's a television podcast for the true fanatics. It's a weekly dive in the latest in TV news and reviews. I'm your host, Swanson. With me, as always, is my co-host and depressing wrestling dad, Stairmaster.
Oh, hey, this is just like Varsity State, Madison Square Cube Garden.
Yeah, sure thing, Dad. Listen, I respect you for reasons.
Go lay some pipe.
And
don't forget to use a condom.
Oh, that's more advice than he actually gave in the show.
I don't think, yeah.
And with us, as always, of course, is our other co-host and interviewer of my future presidential run.
What?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be like funny, right? Like I'm funny.
Yeah, you're
the funny interviewer,
funny, I guess.
I make faces.
Yeah, you make faces. You're in Marvel movies, so you have to be funny.
You're like Kim Ji-young, but for people without the budget for Kim Ji-young.
I would say I'd say Randall Park is better than Ken Jeong. That's
not here. He is.
I mean, in general, he's a better presence than Ken Jeong. Like, if you put Ken Jeong in this role, it doesn't work at all.
Yeah, he can be kind of annoying.
Yeah. Well, maybe The Rock would get pissed off and start wrestling him.
Yeah, that's better. The Rock versus the Chang. Anyway, welcome to TV Tuners. We're here for another week of dynamite action coming your way. And yeah, I mean, we're here. We're talking to you about television. If that's like something that you're into, if you like what you're listening to right now, why not consider subscribing?
Huh?
So the main conceit of your
Hey, hold on. We were about to play the plug part.
wait.
You know?
So the main conceit of your podcast is that you're a group of friends. You come together and you talk about television, and you want subscribers.
Yes, on iTunes.
That's right.
And
Well,
all the podcasters of your choice.
I'd really like you to explain why someone would subscribe. Why would somebody subscribe to your podcast?
Well, they like it
I mean-
primarily.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what exactly do you want them to do?
Give us a 5-star review. Tell their friends.
Subscribe to iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, those kind of places. Wherever you find
So you're
podcasts,
able to-
that's where you could find us and subscribe.
So I'm getting the concept here that there are several different locations.
I
where-
mean, yeah. A lot of them are redundant. And nobody uses.
Yeah, you only need one.
So you only use one, and you go on that one you use, and you give it a 5-star review. Interesting.
Oh, that's the ideal. Usually people just listen to it and don't do anything.
Yeah.
They don't even talk to us or anything most of the time.
They can talk to you?
Yeah, on Twitter.
Yeah, they can use the Twitter app. At TV Tuners is where we usually hang out on Twitter.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
we're gonna
usually
talk
great
about
TV content.
we're gonna talk about the Twitter account. We're gonna talk about the Twitter account.
Oh,
That sounds ominous.
Well, I'm gonna be frank with you. There have been scandals related to that Twitter account, and
It's been a rough few years.
Yeah.
I'm going to be as fair as possible when we broach that topic, but just be prepared. It does get quite ugly. Quite ugly.
And yeah, so that's the Twitter page at TV Tuners over there. And what if they want like a more personal connection, Keel, right? Maybe they want to like email us?
Yeah,
Electronic mail.
They can like send us an email, and it's like we read it out loud on the podcast and say whatever they want, including like
Slurs.
threats. Yeah, slurs. Ooh, those are good.
Yeah, they wouldn't. They would never get us in hot water on like another podcast or program of some sort.
Yeah. Or like a 60 Minutes type thing.
A vague news program. Yeah.
This brings us to a very important topic. So you have an email account.
Is that important?
This is an important interview, and this is an important question. So
Okay.
you have an email account. This is let me see what
It's TV
Tuners Podcast at gmail.com. Is that correct?
That's right.
That's right. TV Tuners Podcast at gmail.com. You send the email and we read it aloud on the pod.
All right, you read it aloud on the podcast, and you're willing to just read whatever's sent to you, and this has caused some controversy.
Yeah, I think I know what you're referring to here.
Yes.
Well, so what exactly is the TV Tuners Podcast official stance on the events of September 11?
Well,
Bush knew.
Our official stance is that a lot of people died that day. But
It
what
was
else?
very unfortunate.
yes.
All right, and which parties were responsible for the attack?
The president.
Okay.
And the King of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Well, you decided that it would be a good idea to read out an email sent to your email account, alleging that several different groups were responsible, many more than the ones you mentioned there. You mentioned 3 different racial groups.
Well, have they been proven to not be involved?
Well, we don't know a lot about Central Asia. You can't blame that on us.
The email also alleges that, quote, the cops did 9/11.
Well, I mean...
Well, that is from a certain point of view.
It depends on what you consider a cop.
The email also says that Swanson did 9/11, and you just
Classic.
decided to read the Swanson. Where were you on September
you
11th? Everyone remembers where they were.
I actually do remember where I was, which I was skipping school that day. I was at my house because my mom didn't feel like taking me, and I was playing Final Fantasy.
So,
my God.
what you're telling me? What you're telling me right now, Swanson? You've just admitted to me that you do not have an alibi.
I do. You can ask my
true.
mother; she was there.
Was she watching you play Final Fantasy?
No, but
9?
she did run in and tell me that the trade centers were falling, and I needed to watch because history was happening.
9/11's happening.
She said, and I quote, "History is happening."
All right. Well, I've got your mother's phone number. I'm going to just quickly make a phone call.
This is a very strange interview process.
Hello?
Yeah.
Who is this?
Where was your son, Jimmy Swanson,
It's not my full name.
It's Johnny. Johnny Swanson.
during the events of
that even my mom?
September 11 attacks?
Well, I was hungover, so I didn't take him to
Oh my
school
God.
that day. And then I realized I was out of cigarettes.
Well, maybe true.
So I had to drive down to the state of New York to get some more.
So
Drive down to the state of New York. I lived in PA.
You know, because cigarettes are illegal in Pennsylvania.
these are some interesting details
Because you have
here.
because you have to do your own gas.
All right, can I
thing.
ask what the point of all this is?
Oh, bye-bye. Boop.
Didn't want to talk to
Swanson.
me. Pretty typical.
Oh, that's sad.
There's some serious allegations being leveled against you.
Did your mom ever come back?
I mean, yeah, eventually.
So there's 8 hours you were unaccounted for.
I mean, I was at my house playing Final Fantasy 9. You can check the run times on that game.
That my fact checkers are confirming that you can actually check to see how many hours you played that game.
But do you still have the memory card?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Wow.
And the same save file.
Uh-huh. Oh, 100%.
Wow. Yeah,
Well, what did you name the main character?
That time around, I named him Farts.
Classic.
You're corroborating the story pretty well.
Yeah, I mean...
So with all that being said, the TV Tuners podcast, you broach many different topics, including Swanson. You have a very critically acclaimed moment in the podcast where you turn to your co-hosts and you say to them, "Hey, what'd you guys watch this week?"
So what'd you guys watch this week? Anything fun, interesting?
I watched Thomas the Tank Engine Blue Mountain Mystery with my friend Al.
Elgato, you
What?
mean, of course.
Oh, Elgato, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's Al for short.
Right.
Oh yeah. We do call her L for short. That's true.
We don't have to worry
Why
about
were you watching like a TV show for like little or a movie for little babies?
Because the guy from Chop 'Em made fun of another guy for making a dumb tweet about Thor Ragnarok, and all he did was switch out the title of that movie with Thomas Blue Mountain Mystery.
So,
The tweet goes, Thomas Blue Mountain Mystery is a profoundly bisexual movie about colonialism and the healing power of accountability. So we decided to watch it and see if that was true.
Well,
There is some weird queer subtext, and it's not just because they're British.
huh.
Like, there's stuff like the trains getting new paint coats, which could be seen as a trans allegory.
oh, okay.
Interesting.
And there's a literal character who hides in a cave, sort of like the closet.
So what is the Blue Mountain Mystery?
Oh, they all think that this one train murdered another train.
Oh,
Oh my
that train's
god.
hiding in the mountains.
God.
Some real intrigue going on in Thomas.
No,
No?
it's lame.
Oh.
Oh.
But it has a cool theme song.
Okay.
It sounds like Crush 40 mixed with Pinball Wizard.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
All right, that sounds great to me. I would like to hear
Yeah,
that.
so this week I only watched the same animes I've been watching week by week, so nothing really to talk about there.
Okay.
You watch anything, Swanson?
Yeah, I finally decided to give the Animaniacs reboot a try.
Oh my god.
Whatever. I watched
What a shame.
I watched a few episodes and I was like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah, they should have brought Freakazoid back.
Yeah, probably.
In 2021, we are all freakazoid.
Well, I think the main problem is that in the 90s, when it was airing, Animaniacs was like legitimately not. You wouldn't see a show. Most other cartoon shows weren't doing the exact same thing.
In America, yeah. I'm sure there's, yeah.
Like, Animaniacs was extremely, like, referential to the point where, as a kid, you didn't get almost half of the references they were making. And so it was,
in my case, like, none.
Yes. So it was like, but it was still funny because, you know, they're doing wacky antics and Pinky and the Brain are there.
Yeah, even if you don't understand the plot of Schindler's List.
Exactly.
You can still laugh.
20 years later, every show is doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even, like, The Simpsons does that now. So it doesn't feel fresh or fun in any real way. It doesn't help that the first episode literally opens with a Jurassic Park parody.
Wait, which Jurassic Park?
The first one. It has the same. It has Jeff Goldblum's character in it, and Sam Neill.
Ouchie.
Anyway, the Pinky and the Brain stuff is fine, I guess. They bring Pinky and the Brain back, but none of the other Animaniacs characters outside of the original Warner Brothers.
Brain is on Twitter now.
Oh, yeah? What's he... Yeah, yes, you're correct. It's pretty much right.
Oh, he's probably like with the alt-right.
There's
probably like an intellectual like Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, they don't go that far with it, unfortunately. They just have him try to make like a cute animal video.
But he's disgusting.
Yeah. And
his friend is disgusting.
Well, arguably Pinky is cute.
He's kind of grotesque.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, he's too happy.
I think Animaniacs are kind of weird too. They got eyes like demons, I think.
Well, no one knows what the Animaniacs are, so...
Sort of like the legendary trio from Pokemon Gold and Silver.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, so who is who?
The one that sounds like Ringo is, Entei.
Yeah.
You know their names, Stairmaster?
That's Wacko,
Yakko, and Jacko.
Yakko is the one who sounds like Ringo, so he's Entei.
And Wacko is Raikou.
Oh, I was gonna say Dot was Raikou.
Okay, that makes sense. That's valid.
Anyway,
yeah, I think that's better.
If you're a huge fan of Animaniacs, I've just been like watching it constantly, waiting for new stuff. Here it is.
Yeah, don't do it.
So otherwise, I would say steer clear of it because it's just not anything.
So how many years until they reboot Histora Babies?
Oh, probably like never.
I want to see them do 9/11.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll happen.
Those little guys with the box cutters.
Oh my god.
Yes.
So I'm back on my ish. I've been watching bad TV shows and writing about them. This week I watched an 80s ripoff of Tron called Automan.
Is he a car?
He can make a car. He stands for Automatic Man, which is weird because it should have been Automated Man. Because he's a hologram.
Yeah, that's way cooler.
He's a hologram created by like some nerd who works in like the tech division of the police, which I guess is a thing in 83. It's not. And
yeah,
he makes this automated man who, when he shows up, he's wearing like a suit that they chroma key, so he just looks blue the entire time except for his head.
Nice.
So he's awful to look at. And then they just sort of... He has a little buddy who's like who's called Cursor, who's just like a little like hexagonal blob that floats around and creates things for him. Let me find a picture here. See if I can show you guys how...
This does not sound very good.
The Automan experience.
Automatic Man sounds like a very
what is
late
going
prog
on?
rock
And
album,
just imagine
like
that's the guy you
John
see
Repeat.
the entire...
What the fuck?
Do you want to describe
How
this,
could
Keo?
You can't.
It's like... It kind of reminds me of like old samurai like plated armor.
Yes, like the Gundam.
Yeah.
But it's like there's a very bright glow effect around the entire thing, and every single segment of the armor is shimmering like stars. But it's just it's kind of like a regular man head, just kind of like behind it.
And he's on screen for about half the episode's runtime.
45.
I would get a headache watching this. Like, guaranteed, I would just be like really upset.
He does have a cool car and helicopter that he gets to ride around in sometimes. Anyway, it's not a great show, but it's actually somehow the least offensive to my tastes that I've watched so far. So
that's incredible.
Because it's just sort of mediocre. It's not like awful.
Speaking of incredible,
what?
The TV Tuners Twitter account has made some incredible blunders.
Oh, is this about this? Oh, the Sopranos tweets.
Sopranos tweets.
Is this about calling Kamala Harris a gabagool? With an H?
Well, no, that was very... I remember that being very well liked.
Yeah.
The Legion of Italians had other things to say about that statement.
The LII?
Well, they hate these. They hate the Sopranos, right?
Well, yeah, of course they do.
In general.
I remember the exact quote when they saw the Sopranos being, "Come on!"
They're like, "Oh!
Hey! Whoa!"
This is just
what the fuck is there to talk about?
Just the kind of controversial thing that gets you guys in hot water. Now, there's a week-by-week tradition that you follow on the TV Tuners account where apparently you've amassed a great number of very problematic, rowdy, uncontrollable interns.
Well, yeah, that's very true.
They decide week by week that they will curate for you a single tweet which you decide to spotlight.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah, our tweet of the week.
Sometimes they're even good.
The tweet of the week. Could you explain that to me?
Alright, so I guess it's time for our tweet of the week, right, Starmaster?
I guess. I hope we're not interrupting something important.
Probably not. I mean, I don't see why we would be.
Like a very important question that will not be answered because we... Anyways, this tweet of the week comes from at the Iron Sheik.
Oh.
Who writes, "Who ready for Young Rock, Bubba?"
Yeah. Who's ready for hashtag Young Rock, Bubba?
Yeah, so this account tweets everything in all caps except for hashtags because, you can't.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to by law. Its pen tweet is, "Take a minute of your day to be nice to someone, you dumb son of a bitch."
Oh my god.
The Iron Sheik Twitter account is truly amazing. It is at once hugely problematic to just because of himself.
Yes.
And then is at once also very interesting and fun.
Yeah. I think you should apologize for the Iran hostage crisis.
Well, yeah, if you believe the WWF lore, he's directly responsible.
Oh my god.
You think he met Ollie North?
Yes.
Wow. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I think I was ready for Young Rock. I think I was pretty chill on that. I was ready, right? Were you guys ready?
Grimly resigned.
Yeah, I was prepared for Young Rock, Bubba.
This tweet's it's kind of boring. I'm gonna give this a tune out.
Oh.
I'm gonna give it a tune in just for the YouTube clip where Iron Sheik says "fucking bullshit."
I'm gonna give it a tune in because I fear the Iron Sheik and don't want to be put in painful holds.
Yeah.
By him or any of his friends.
It's very bold of you to assume that 70-plus-year-old Iron Sheik is mobile enough to put you in a hold.
Really? You think I could take the Iron Sheik in a fight, Swanson?
Stairmaster has a negative mobility score.
I guess that's true. Yeah, it's probably about even.
It's deeply troubling that you would decide to look upon other people talking about television programs and consider yourself above other people. Would you really contend that you are the greatest television reviewers currently available?
I mean,
that is what Swanson says at the start of every episode.
Can you name another one?
I, in fact, can't. The only other reviewer I could name is Roger Ebert. And
he's dead now.
That's right.
He has very, very tragically passed away before his time.
Yeah, his head exploded or something.
That's right. And we had nothing to do with it.
And
well, that's odd to say.
So,
I was just making sure people know.
So I'd like you to explain exactly how you determine yourself as the best, and maybe show me exactly what kind of things the rabble come up with. Just give me the quintessential concept of the rabble for me.
Well, usually we find the dumbest possible thing to review, to read out loud.
All right, so Stairmaster, let's start the rabble off here. What do you got for us?
Oh, I thought Keo was going first, but I got a review from Kimberly77180, who writes, "So bad."
Okay, what's up with the numbers? Does IMDb just add them for you or something?
I think that's the date of birth.
Okay, I mean, there's so many of these profiles with really long numbers at the end of them, but the name itself is just really basic.
Yeah, this person was born in 77,000 BCE. And that's why they post on IMDb instead of other websites.
I didn't hear the number, okay.
This show is so bad, I couldn't make it through 15 minutes of the first episode. Dwayne Johnson as a presidential candidate? Really? No way. After Trump, this country's done with celebrity idiots with no knowledge of politics running for president.
Is
Governor of California, maybe. We've been there and done that in California. The actor attempting to play Andre the Giant, totally offensive. Looks and sounds nothing like him. The advertising saying this is Dwayne's real-life story is deceptive and a little bit scary. If this is truly anything close to his real-life story, he's a freak. Dwayne has become a very good actor since The Mummy Part 2. This show is degrading him. This show is actually worse than Hobbs and Shaw, and I didn't think that was possible.
This review still going?
Yes, 1 out of 10 stars. 11 out of 40 found this helpful.
That's I like that it switches to Donald Trump apparently is writing it in the second
halfway through I realized it had that energy.
Yeah. The Rock is sad right now, just perfect. It's a sad show, Young Rock. It's the type of show that would have gotten canceled, unlike my show, The Apprentice.
This show is just a show off.
I don't understand how somebody could see 4 years of Trump and people still supporting him and be like, yeah, people are done with people like Trump.
People will never support a celebrity running for the highest office in our country ever again.
Literally, if Trump ran again, he'd win the Republican primary a second time.
I wonder if that's going to happen.
Huh. Interesting. It's almost like
to be continued.
Yeah. we'll have to find out. Yeah, that's not entirely inaccurate, I suppose. That's a decent. I guess that review is, true-ish.
Mostly what we agree with.
Yeah, there's some falsehoods in that, but can't complain, I suppose. Do you want to go next, Keo?
Oh yeah, I've got a 1 out of 10 as well. And you guys are gonna love the title for this one. Bazinga!
Hit him with it.
You know what?
Got him.
Valid.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
This is a 1 out of 10 by the Great Cheesy Cheese.
Ooh.
Friend of the show.
Good guy, that guy. All right, it says, Young Sheldon is heartwarming and funny. Young Rock is just dumb.
Okay.
I guess that's what you get for shamefully copying without having a clue. 18 out of 59 found this helpful.
You got me in the first half, Keo, not gonna lie. I thought this was just a misplaced review for Young Sheldon. So I've never, full disclosure here, I've never watched Young Sheldon. I, God willing, never will.
My mom has. We should have her on the pod to talk about Young Sheldon.
Well, have you watched it with her or seen bits of it?
Yes, I've seen bits of it.
So the gimmick in Young Sheldon is way different actually than the gimmick in The Rock, other than that they're both young.
Yeah, and Young Sheldon is the great leader of the People's Nation.
Yeah.
And he's on trial for war crimes. And that's the framing device.
Right.
Yeah, you're messing with me. You're gaslighting me, Stare.
Would you know?
Oh.
Mr. I don't watch TV?
As far as I can tell, in the Young Sheldon show stays fixed at one point of time, and Young Rock is not. Like, they have the guy who plays Sheldon.
Young Rock is like True Detective.
Yes, time is a flat circle for Young Rock. No, like, other than the guy who plays Sheldon doing, like, voiceover work, Young Sheldon
like
is in one time, and Young Rock is whatever is happening in Young Rock. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Yeah. I've watched The Big Bang Theory, like a little bit.
Yeah.
And wow, what a show. It's like one of the worst things out there, I think.
Bazinga, indeed.
I've watched that clip of Vegeta killing Android 19 with the Big Bang attack repeatedly.
It's similar.
It's way cooler. IMO.
All right, so let's head over to Rotten Tomatoes here. I've got the critics' reviews.
Tell me, does a critic like you feel fear?
Keo, it's a good day for the both the audience and the tomato meter. A certified fresh and a big old bucket of popcorn for this show.
Wow, I didn't know on cinema reviewed this.
So they have like a fresh, like gleaming tomato standing next to like a completely full, like just still warm bucket of popcorn, just ready for you to eat both.
Oh yeah,
and a bunch of eggplant emojis.
Yeah, 93% of the audience enjoyed this show, and 88% of critics enjoyed this. In fact, on the front page, without having to dive into the sort of more obscure critics, there's only one negative review.
Wow.
And it is from Tim Stevens of The Spool. The flashbacks, which make up the bulk of each episode, tend to be gentle affairs, more interested in being sweet and teaching a lesson than in being funny.
Really?
Is it wrong for a show to teach lessons?
I would argue a comedy show should also be funny.
I mean, maybe this is just an educational show.
Yeah, it's for kids to learn about.
It's like Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, it's about kids learning how to grow up and be The Rock.
You know, a lot of this is like Thomas the Tank Engine. His themes of aspiration and being a gossipy bitch.
Yeah. Thomas the Tank Engine is known for being a messy bitch who loves drama.
Oh, yes! They're always just talking, they're just always insulting each other to their faces.
Oh.
And causing problems in the workplace. The
dramatically rolling their eyes.
Yes!
They are, yeah.
Because that's the only facial expression they can do.
They are really doing that a lot, true.
They're also rolling their eyes when they're really scared or excited.
I do have a positive review here. This is from Dorian Parks of Geeks of Color. Despite being a glamorized version of Johnson's life, there is a lot to gain and feel connected to. Also, a highly stylized and show-offy approach is very much his style, so there really isn't any other way to tell his story. This is a 5 out of 5 review. Would you describe the direction and approach of this show as show-offy and stylized?
No.
I would say it's as boilerplate as possible, right?
No, there's not even a single chase scene.
Yeah. Have him get chased by that homeless guy.
When The Rock is being interviewed in the show, he's like he's just measured, even tempered the entire way through.
Yeah.
Like, if this was show-offy, the framing device would be The Rock being assassinated at a presidential debate. And he'd be like, so you might be wondering how I got here.
That would be funny. That would be good, actually.
Yeah. Like, he's picking up the Sasquatch, and then a van rolls up, and some Russian guys point a bazooka at him, and the rocket's just flying at him in slow motion.
Oh man, that would be a great
one classical music song is playing.
Yeah, that'd be a great way to get us into like the show.
Which is probably what's going to happen to one of our presidential candidates going forward in the future.
Well, especially probably by 2032.
I mean, it just started off, he is president, and he's like committing an atrocity.
Mr. President, the missiles are ready. We just need your authorization. Well, folks, I'm ready to punish Islam.
And like, I picture like they give him a tablet so he can like survey the area, and there's a bunch of like children there. And
he's looking at that. He's looking at the Kaaba.
Could you imagine The Rock cutting a promo on Syria? He's like, Syria, I want you to take a left corner on Know Your Role Boulevard and shove that
Assad has got to go
and shove this drone missile straight up your candy asses.
Well, that would explain why he's being assassinated because of the curse of Assad.
Yeah.
Or he's talking to a world leader and he asks them a question, and then when they come to answer it, he's just like, it doesn't matter why you want human rights.
Giving the people's elbow to like a Palestinian representative.
Like, there's a Palestinian guy talking about how like they really need a 2-state solution. He's like, it doesn't matter what you think. Know your role and shut your mouth.
2-state solution? How about no state solution?
How about the Rock solution, where I layeth the smack downeth on you?
He attacks the Israeli ambassador in a shocking swerve.
JR's there. Like 80.
Yes, JR would be the U.S. ambassador.
Like 90-year-old JR is just like, my God, stop it.
General Secretary of the United Nations, JR.
Oh, dear God, stop it. The Prime Minister of Iran is dead.
My God, it's a massacre in Darfur. Those children are dead.
My God, Yemen is destroyed.
The Rock has just killed the entire UN Security Council.
My God, he's laying rock bottoms on all of them.
I know it's not for another 50 minutes or whatever, but I do want to point out in the show, The Rock's presidential campaign is, hang in there, I'm coming.
Oh.
Which might be the most prescient thing.
Yeah, it would be better if he had said coming with a U.
And then the eggplant emojis.
Yeah.
So, I would say that you've made a pretty good case for why you are, in fact, the greatest in TV news and reviews.
Well, thank you.
The IMDb reviews were, we can all agree, I think, that they were
god-awful.
Not up to the correct standards.
That's right.
And
you mean sanity?
The top critics reviews, supposedly top critics, did not do a great job of talking about this program, and I think you illustrated that quite well with the hilarious. I think that we can all agree that the bit you just did was, in fact, hilarious.
I think there's nothing funnier than the idea of The Rock being a terrible leader.
So, people can purchase copies, and
yes,
they can have you just do an episode about whatever you like.
That's right, yeah, it's very popular. You can go over to Buy Me a Coffee.
It has not backfired yet.
/TV Tuners, and you can do that.
Except for our disastrous episode on trains.
Well, that was only disastrous because there had been, as we were recording, a giant train accident.
Yes. And I wanted to interrupt the recording so we could go check it out.
Yeah, it was...
very unprofessional.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
You should have seen it. There are like 4 separate trains. I didn't even know that was possible.
To have four trains?
Crashing into each other.
Well,
Like, there was this one time in the 80s where one train in England rear-ended another train, and that spilled over onto the second set of tracks that another train was coming towards and hit that and derailed. But 4 is a lot.
A lot of people are saying that. 4 is a lot.
So that's what happened to the unreleased train episode of TV Tuners.
That's right, and
oh yeah, and,
we plan on never releasing it for that very reason.
And also because the signals malfunctioned because we hooked up our recording equipment onto the same circuit.
You do realize that due to your horrible blunder, you've caused untold suffering to train guys all across the country.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the 69 deaths.
No, I think the train guys probably have. The train guys do complain more.
They are very loud. Yeah. We've been waiting for this moment. It's finally here. But yeah, usually we don't cause news on TV Tuners. Usually we just talk about it.
Very true, yeah.
Yes, causing a terrible train crash is a very large problem because the train guys they don't want to hear about that. They want to. They want to enjoy the trains. They want to be able to see the trains go down the tracks.
You can't do that if they're on fire and crushed
Correct.
underneath and torn to pieces.
On top of that, whenever there's a big train problem, train production, train coverage, it sees a sharp decline.
Well, I think both of those things would go up since you got to replace the trains.
Unfortunately, that's not true. You have to replace, just a couple of trains, maybe, if you're going to continue that route going. But future development of trains is impacted by it. It's a vicious cycle. And the news coverage of trains becomes much more negative after an incident like that. So the train guys, deeply disappointed that you didn't really
I'm starting to think you're a train guy.
Yeah, you do kind of have that intensity and, sniper focus.
I would not describe myself as a train guy. I look at trains.
How'd you get to work today?
I'm the one asking questions during this
interview. Do you drive?
Yeah. Do you have a driver's license?
I do not have a driver's license.
Oh.
Do you have a driver's license?
I do, yeah.
Do you drive to the TV tuner's house?
Well, yeah, we live there.
Is that a keychain on your wallet? Hanging out of your pocket there? Let's see what that keychain is. I see some weird circle things that look like wheels.
I have a train keychain, yes. I have a train keychain. My friend got it for me.
What's his name?
Thomas.
Mr. Conductor?
My friend's name is...
George Carlin.
My friend's name is
Peter Fonda?
Viewinter.
What?
That sounds like a made-up name.
That sounds like a guy from Gundam.
It's a real name for a real friend.
Does he wear a mask?
He does not wear a mask.
He should really be wearing his mask.
Yeah, it's a pandemic.
My friend isn't really an important part of this topic. What we really want to talk about is your hard-hitting news coverage.
Yes,
it's true. We do cover a lot of news.
Critically acclaimed. People say that when you talk about the news, you don't pull any punches. It's very controversial. There are thousands of people signing petitions saying to shut down TV Tuners podcast, no more news coverage.
And that's also lovers, and people would probably like to hear us talk about the news right now.
Yes, lovers.
Not fighters.
Passionate lovers. Yes.
Obsessives. People were getting increasingly angry that we're not talking about the news. Or so hypothetically.
Yes, please. Go ahead. Just tell me your thought process as you cover the news. I criticized you before about things you didn't cover, but the things you do cover are very important. So please, go ahead.
All right, so let's get to the news, huh, guys?
Yeah.
All right, we got a lot of news this week. There's nothing but bangers that I picked up on the news wire.
Okay.
And I'm starting off with this one here. Sony, we've talked about it before, but PlayStation Productions is the name of Sony's whole TV production thing they're getting into. Remember, they're making that Last of Us show.
Ironically, they're closing their video game development studio, which is named Tokyo Studio, I think.
Yeah.
I'm very confused by this.
Yeah.
So they have a PlayStation production studio that they've been trying to launch stuff out of. And now they are starting to get shit together. They have an Uncharted movie that they're making. They have that Last of Us TV show we talked about. Now they are bringing Twisted Metal to television for a live-action adaptation. I think the
car murder game.
Yeah, the car murder game where there's a clown with an ice cream truck and he's killing people.
I think this was greenlit solely because of the Snyder Cut trailer. They saw that and they saw the Joker saying, "We live in a society without honor."
Wait,
and some guy in Japan was just like, "How can we get that in our products?"
Now,
wait.
Yeah.
So they came up with this after seeing the Snyder Cut trailer and immediately went through all their different games and just said, "Here it is. We have one with the clown. We're going to do this one."
Yes.
Pretty much. They were just like, you know what? We've got clowns. Let's go ahead and do it.
Well, they have one clown.
Yeah, one clown.
Do you guys know? Like, have you guys ever played Twisted Metal?
I've never played Twisted Metal, but I did play Vigilante 8.
Is that similar?
Is that in the same universe?
No, it's the same. No, it's like it's a totally different game, but it's the same concept.
Okay.
Oh.
Like it's also a game where you drive around in cars and shoot at people.
I have just been reminded that the clown is named Sweet Tooth. There's also one of the racers is a guy who's just stuck between, whose arms are just engulfed in two giant wheels. Yeah,
I think he's like in the tournament. I think the people are in the tournament to get like wishes.
Yes, okay, so
he's like Satan himself. I mean, honestly, if you were to adapt the story of Twisted Metal, I think there's actually a lot you could do with it.
The thing is that like each game, the plot is so ridiculous from the last to the next one that you have to like find out where you have to pick and choose. You can't just adapt it straight.
I don't know why they're making a TV show, not a movie. That should be like $100 million budget at a minimum.
Oh yeah, do like Death Race, but just add it, make it more insane.
Yes. Also, I don't want to spread dangerous misinformation on the podcast, so I want to clarify that it's actually the vehicle's name is Sweet Tooth and the driver's name is Needles.
Oh,
Needles is on the cover.
He's on the cover of like all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so whoever it's cast at Needles, that's going to make or break this show, I imagine.
Very true, yeah. I do remember when the PS2 came out and they had the new Twisted Metal game, they made Needles look like a prison, like he just got out of prison, like he had a bunch of tattoos and...
Oh, it's like a Jared Leto version of Needles.
Yes, yeah, he had Savage written on his forehead. Anyway,
the Twisted Metal seems like a really wild series, and I think that, I don't know, you're right about the budget. I don't think you can make this show good without a really high budget.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
I want to see real cars. Like, give me Fury Road.
But yeah, the basic plot of the series is there's a dude named Calypso who is making people get into car battles so that whoever wins gets their greatest wish. Although Calypso's a bastard, so it's usually in like a mean and unfair way that he gets it. That they get what they want.
Yeah, it's like people ask for a Gen 4 remake in Pokemon. He gives them
no!
Yeah, I don't know. The Twisted Metal, the game, now a TV show. We'll have to see how that goes, I guess. Anyway, that's not the only video game related thing that's currently being pushed to the masses.
Why do they keep doing this?
I think the
old refuses to die.
Yes.
And the new is stillborn.
That's right. So Peacock, which is still trying to sort of solidify its image in the streaming wars, has this.
What is that image?
They're like all the other ones, but they have ads.
They got a bird.
Oh, they have The Office. That's their whole thing. They said, "We got Office. We got The Office."
Oh, so they're gonna. What video game is like The Office? Persona 4?
I guess. I would say if I were to, just off the top of my head guessing and in no way swayed by the news item that I have in front of me, Frogger?
What? That's weird, but I'll accept that. Also, what's the news item you have?
Peacock is turning the idea of Frogger into a quote-unquote supersized physical competition.
What? Okay, what?
So think the show Wipeout, but it's Frogger.
But there's cars.
So you have people like in danger of getting hit by a car or drowning in a river.
I guess, but it would probably be like an inflatable car is coming towards you.
It's like that. It's like the game show on Sorry to Bother You, where they just beat the shit out of that lady.
Yes,
but it's the logical conclusion.
Yeah, so the game is it's going to be it's called Frogger. It is straight up just Frogger, and it will feature competitors from around the world going through 12 outrageous obstacle courses that will test their skill, strength, strategy, and problem-solving smarts.
I was hoping for a live-action drama, to be honest, but I can be, appeased if they are forced to dress up like Frogger. and frog hop across the obstacle course.
And if they don't frog hopping, the host is like, "What? Oh, disqualified."
Yeah, they get tased if they don't. And they're fed to the crocodile.
Now, if you're not aware, Frogger, of course, is owned by everyone's favorite game distributor, Konami.
Oh.
And hopefully, maybe this is just the start, but I would say the better competition show is Bomberman, right?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Metal Gear Solid.
Well, yeah, I guess, but I feel like no one wants to watch no one would be appeased by a Metal Gear Solid game show.
What about... That's literally just Legends of the Hidden Temple, but with a different aesthetic, Swanson.
Swanson, I don't...
Gangbusters.
I don't think a Bomberman game is going to work. People will die. Like, a lot of people will die.
Well, it's not going to be actual bombs.
Also, the bombs wouldn't work in a gameable way.
Bombs aren't going to... It's not going to be actual bombs, Gioran. Obviously, it's going to be like a... It's going to be like a fun, like, virtual thing, or like inflatables, or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe...
But there will be roller skates, and that is very dangerous.
Oh, yeah, true. Maybe Stare's onto something here, because you could switch out that Metal Gear thing and go with a franchise that is also sorely underused, but at least still technically exists. Silent Hill.
Oh, God!
Imagine how terrifying that would be.
Yeah, that's a real game show where you could just watch it with a whole family.
Instead of temple guards, it's just a bunch of pyramid heads come out.
It's a sexy pyramid head nurse as the host.
Okay, I'd watch that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And they would have to have a different course each week for the contestants that's personalized to their traumas.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Jim. He lost his friend in Iraq, and he thinks he's to blame.
It would be a step above the usual, because you would have to tailor it each week.
Oh, yeah,
this would be
just imagine they have a whole season where they actually take a person and just take them through a whole Silent Hill adventure.
That would be wild.
This is Margaret.
I feel like you would have to have different people, because someone would either have a psychological break or they would in the game die.
Well, the pyramid heads will be using real swords.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I guess we
and there will be wild dogs.
It's very hard to beat the Silent Hill games without dying a single time, so most likely every contestant would die, right?
Yeah.
I mean, death sports have a proud history. I mean, half of Roman politics was about chariot racers and who got killed the least.
Yeah, has there ever been a guy who was in the gladiator arena or whatever, and they sent in the lions and he just won?
I think that's in the Bible.
Yeah, it might as well have been.
Yeah, it sounds like a Bible story.
I feel like if that happened, they would have to make that guy the emperor.
He'd become the new god?
I mean, how else would you not say that guy was blessed by Mars or Jupiter?
Yeah.
If he beat a bunch of lions.
Very true. And you're saying this. Anyway, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you all that there is an episode of Seinfeld where
they go to Silent Hill.
Yes. Oh my God, it's all our trauma!
Hey Jerry, it's that guy you made fun of while he was dying on the sidewalk.
No, there is an episode of Seinfeld.
Oh, all of Jerry's exes show up.
To
torment him.
There is an episode of Seinfeld where George Costanza essentially plays Frogger with New York traffic.
Oh yes, because he's trying to get the Frogger cabinet.
Yes,
which has his high score on it.
Yeah, and he's trying to move it across the street without it getting wrecked, and it does eventually get wrecked. Anyway, so we'll have to see how that Frogger game show turns out, and by have to see, of course, I mean we'll forget all about it probably.
Yes. It might as well have not happened.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I don't think it did happen. I think Swanson made it up. He's doing fake news.
It was an urban legend.
Again? When have I ever done that?
And do you guys believe there's a game called Frogger Beyond where Frogger wears a t-shirt, a vest, and shorts?
Yes.
Yes, I've seen footage of
yeah.
it. He hangs out with a bunch of dwarves, and he's got to rescue a princess.
Did that come out before or after the 3D PlayStation Frogger?
I think it was the first Frogger on the PlayStation 2. And it was one of the earliest titles. Like it predates MGS too.
Yeah, what a sad time. All right, so you guys hear the Blues are calling?
No.
Toss salad and
Is it
scrambled
about Cowboy
eggs.
Bebop?
No, I'm of course talking about Dr. Frasier Crane,
What?
everyone's favorite psychologist.
Yeah.
He is back again. We talked about it, I think,
Okay.
a year ago at this point, maybe longer.
I think we've talked about it 5 times.
That the Frasier reboot was forthcoming, and it has finally happened. Paramount Plus, formerly CBS All Access, is making a big push for its new streaming service to be a place for people to turn to, and one of the people who's going to help them is Kelsey Grammer himself, Dr. Frasier Crane. He's back. They're bringing Frasier back. It's coming to our TVs.
We've been waiting for this for so long that I forgot we were waiting for it.
We've basically written an entire season of Frasier talking about what a reboot could be like.
And I have to assume they're not using any of our ideas. Like, I'm a little mad. I feel betrayed.
Well,
Betrayal.
at least we don't have to spend our coffee funds on legal.
So, yeah, we'd have to, like, really sue them for, like, just stealing our ideas, not paying us.
I guess it's true.
Because ideas are priceless, is what they say in the business.
Yes.
That is what they say.
So,
Not everyone has one.
Yeah, they're as evidenced by a lot of what we watch.
Ayo.
Yeah, so
confirmed that he does not have a sword in this?
I think nothing has been confirmed so far other than that Kelsey Grammer will be back. In fact, none of the other original cast members are even announced as being in it. So
So he could have a sword.
It literally sounds like they're just like we're doing it, and then they told like him about it.
And he said yes.
Yeah, because all we have info-wise is that this will be the continuing journey of Dr. Frasier Crane.
The journey. Where's he headed?
Yeah, what's up with this guy? Where's he going?
Is he going to Silent Hill?
So, yeah, a sequel series to Frasier, sure, whatever, why not? Frasier Crane, and I guess Kelsey Grammer himself, at this stage are in, like, their late 60s. So there's no way this isn't depressing, right?
This is going to be like MGS4.
Yeah. Yes, it's...
Nano machines?
Yeah, I meant Frasier's going to be in a graveyard with a gun in his mouth at the end.
I'm sorry, Niles.
And then his father is revealed to be alive this whole time.
I'm sorry, Niles. I couldn't save you. Yeah, it'd be a terrifying experience, but I would watch. It sounds the idea you came up with, Stairmaster, sounds like if David Lynch was doing Frasier.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So I had a quick thought, guys.
Yeah.
Can we talk about if Zack Snyder did Frasier?
Niles, we live in a society.
Niles is crucified.
Do you quip? You will. Yeah, there's no way that would end well. It would, the dog would be like a CGI abomination.
Yeah, and it turns out the radio station that Frasier works for is, like, responsible for human experimentation that resulted in the dog. It's like Videodrome, I guess, but worse.
Yeah, much, much worse. Also, it would be billed as an hour-long program, but be 5 hours.
Does Frasier fuck?
Yes. He has a son.
I mean, but does he?
That's past tense. That's past tense, Swanson.
No, he doesn't have. He didn't have a son. He has one.
Yeah, but I mean, is he like getting it with the ladies on Cheers and Frasier?
I mean, in most of Cheers, he is married. But he is introduced.
I guess that is kind of a form of getting it.
He is introduced into Cheers as like a third wheel to the Sam and Diane relationship.
Whoa.
I mean, Swanson, having a son means that you had sex once total.
No, yeah, Frasier Crane is introduced getting it. Like, he's not introduced, like, in bed, but he's introduced as, like, a love partner.
A mid-sex scene, like HBO.
Yeah, you just hear him like, oh! Oh! That's a very strange introduction for, like, 1985. No, Frasier Crane it was getting it thoroughly.
Okay.
Even in Frasier, he was. Most of Frasier, most of the overarching plot of Frasier is about him trying to like find love after being divorced.
Oh,
That's why I feel like a sequel series is. There's no way it's not depressing.
yeah, that's why they should go the Videodrome angle, since that was kind of a theme.
Yeah, maybe.
Loneliness in the age of new media.
I feel like the only idea I've ever heard pitched for a Frasier sequel is that it's just the original show, but now Frasier is the dad.
Ah, fuck that.
What if Frasier, but he's happily married and he has a gun?
Yeah, and the FBI asked him to help solve serial murderer cases.
Yeah, he has to solve the serial murder. He has to solve the murder of Norm.
Oh no!
Norm, who was crucified.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so it's Zack Snyder's version of Frasier by way of Hannibal.
By way of 7. It's an inverted cross, by the way.
So it's Frasier. It's
like
Frasier
Peter.
and Niles trying to solve a murder spree.
Yeah, and Niles keeps vomiting at the crime scene.
They find out at the end that it's Cliff Clavin who's been doing all the murders.
Yeah. No, it's the kid from what's that name? Tommy.
Oh, Tommy Westfall.
Tommy Westfall's responsible for the serial killings.
And he reboots the universe so we can get a Tommy Westfall cinematic universe.
Yes. No, it's like a JRPG. They have to fight him and kill him.
Oh yeah, classic. But listen, a Frasier reboot wasn't the only thing that Paramount had for us. No. In addition to that, they announced that the long in the works Halo show that we talked about is going to be coming to Paramount Plus instead of Showtime.
Ooh.
And
Well, I don't know what that means, Swanson. That's just like
Downgrade.
it just means that there's going to be a Halo show on the streaming service at some point instead of on Showtime, the network.
What's Showtime?
It's the network.
What's Halo?
It's like HBO, but all of their programs run longer and are less well liked.
Okay. So they don't have a streaming service. They just have a channel.
Showtime, I believe,
TV.
is a subsidiary of CBS. So yeah, they just have like
So
a channel.
it doesn't.
They're an HBO tier channel, so you like pay for them.
Allegedly.
No, they exist.
Some sources say.
That's what they do.
They exist, but I mean, I wouldn't say they're HBO tier.
Well, that's what I mean. They're paid to watch channels.
Have you guys watched anything really good on Showtime before? Or
I've heard a lot of good things about Spartacus.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
not
I've
even
seen
Showtime, actually.
Oh,
Stars.
well, I've heard a lot of good things about Strike Back, which I think was a British show first.
Yeah. Ray Donovan was on Showtime. That's all I know.
Yeah, my mom.
Speaking of not
was
knowing,
really into that show. Apparently.
speaking of not knowing Showtime, have any of us played Halo?
I mean,
I've seen somebody play Halo.
I played like Halo 2 once or twice.
I played the PC demo for Combat Evolved a couple times with my friends.
So we're all going to be super into the show, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be humming the Halo theme.
Yeah, you're just-
So since this is no longer Showtime, they're going to have to cut out the suit jerking off Master Chief, right? They can't do that in Paramount.
No, yeah, I don't think it's going to fly in there. And, of course, they had one last earth-shattering reveal. They're making a Rugrats revival. And you better believe, this time around, there's no 2D animation to be found.
Oh!
Oh, that's gonna be grotesque.
Well, here's a photo.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no.
That's, I don't like it,
you like
and I don't want to
Well,
keep...
these character designs. Yeah. I'm gonna say it right now.
Very
they're
faithful.
They're not meant to be in 3 dimensions.
No.
No, very much not. Who do you think is the most frightening? Is it Angelica way back there, who looks to be?
Oh God, I didn't even notice her. Oh no!
Who looks to have the same head pattern as Hey Arnold?
maybe Angelica is Hey Arnold.
Oh.
I think it's got to be Phil over there or Lil. I don't know which one it is, but
Phil's the one with the mohawk.
They both have mohawks. I think that's Lil.
How can you
I
tell?
have no idea. I don't remember
Phil's
I don't remember how
more-
you're supposed to tell them apart.
I think Phil's more the kind to be in the front. What the fuck is with the lighting in this house, though? It's so
What's
dim.
with the angle?
It's the camera's laying on the floor.
Hold on, are those pills on the floor?
I'm pretty sure.
What are those purple things?
Oh yeah, they all taken ecstasy, and that's why.
I think it's her mom. I think it's the mom's Prozac.
Yeah, and that's how all grown up
I guess
happens.
uncles too. Oh no.
Anyway, do you want to describe this for us, Keo?
Please no. This is knowledge unknown to God that damages your soul.
So let's see, what do we have here? So it's got 3D models of the Rugrats babies, and for what it's worth, the designs have been kept about the same, but they do not translate very well to 3D. They look like monsters.
How come
Every one of
Tommy never wears pants,
He's a free
but
spirit.
everyone else does?
Yeah,
Well, is everyone else on the show capable of controlling their bowels? Is that why Tommy's the only one in a diaper?
No, they all have.
they all have diapers.
I mean, not Angelica and Susie. Is that the other one's name?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Because
Susie.
they're, I think, like 4 or 5. So,
If Susie's here, where's Dill?
well, Susie predated Dill, but that's a great
I
question.
thought Susie should... Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of... what's her name?
Connie or something like that.
But this shows the iconic moment of Tommy using his screwdriver to open up that little thing that they always get out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, this is just like society.
so he's triumphantly holding up his screwdriver that he uses to open
And
it.
he's also holding on to his
Yeah.
friend Chucky, who is Chucky is touching his back
Oh,
in a
that's right.
way that probably
Chucky,
might not be
yes.
Tommy might not like. We don't know.
Watch your hands!
Yeah. What are you, Joe Biden? Get your hands off of him. Stop sniffing him.
Yeah, and like,
Maybe Joe Biden is responsible for this.
I think that is Phil on the right side there because Phil's the one who wears shorts.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's how you tell him apart. And he looks like an actual like demon.
He looks like a monster. He's got demon teeth.
He looks like he should be in Berserk.
Yeah. The dog is there.
He's doing dog things.
Yeah.
I guess the dog is the least grotesque thing here. It looks like a cartoon dog, I guess.
But yeah, there's no lights on in this room. The only lighting comes from the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably nap time.
Oh, yeah. You got to leave the children in the dark while they sleep.
I miss nap
Yeah.
time. Can we take a nap?
Yeah.
Alright, let's take...
Well, I have one more news story if we want to wait till... Because it's kind of hard to sleep
Yeah.
after you've heard about it.
Oh dear.
Okay.
I regret to inform you that the numbers have come in.
Okay. What numbers?
And Criminal Minds is the most streamed television show.
Oh,
Oh.
God.
Why?
How?
So Criminal
Are there really that many moms in America?
evidently, it's not just America, I believe. This is worldwide, I think.
Oh.
But there is some data that's been revealed. I guess it's not. I guess this is the United States. So this is from over a period of a few weeks. And Criminal Minds is the most watched show available on streaming.
Look, what's more fascinating?
Hold
than
on. Are there
the
other
nasty-
stats?
Yeah.
Like
Say
country
what?
breakdown?
Oh, this is it's one country. It's the United States.
Like, well, guys, what's more fascinating than nasty men doing nasty crimes? Tell me.
Women getting nastily murdered?
It's got that too.
No wonder.
Yeah, it's got about 324 episodes of that at least.
And it never gets tiring. It's just always interesting. They always keep it fresh. It's always a new man doing a new
There's
thing.
always a new unsub
every time.
getting ready to do their thing. Anyway,
Do they still have the guy who looks like Robert De Niro, but isn't?
probably. I don't know who you mean. So the total streamed time of Criminal Minds throughout a single week is 984 million minutes.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Alright, how many minutes are... Let me Google that. How many minutes are in a year?
With that many man hours, we could have solved world hunger. Just so you know.
Well, I mean, we already got enough food. We just aren't giving it out, Keo. Okay, so according to
what do you think what do you think I'm saying?
I'm saying,
Keo, what we clearly thought you meant there was that we need to produce more food, and that'll solve the issue.
There's enough food out there. According to Wikipedia, there are 525,000 minutes in a year.
Okay, so...
Which is significantly less than 900 million.
So someone has spent their entire year's worth of time.
This is more years than I think written history.
So that beats out by quite a decent chunk the the second place finisher, Netflix's hit series Bridgerton, which has 936 million minutes viewed.
Oh, my mom likes both those things.
Huh. Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of weird because Criminal Minds and Bridgerton aren't connected in any way. Bridgerton involves a lot of women sort of not being murdered. In fact, sort of living their life and
I think women like both those things. Women living their lives,
and also dying,
women failing to live their lives in the worst way.
Yeah, so Swanson, I can't believe we passed up on Bridgerton on the pod. We like walked past a gold mine, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? I don't know. Did we really want to watch it? Does it seem like a show for us?
We could have been the number one podcast in the world if we had.
Well, there's still a chance if someone out there wants us to hear it.
Oh no!
Desperately.
Oh, like they could buy us a coffee and we talk about Bridgerton.
Yeah, you should spend that money making us watch Dallas instead, I think.
Yeah. Specifically the episode where they reveal that JR being shot was all a dream, and that retroactively reversed an entire season of the TV show.
So I've got one more question to pose to you. And by one more question, I mean probably at least 40 to 50 more questions.
I was told this would be...
How long is this program?
Yeah, I was told this would be like a quick 30 minutes.
Similarly to the legendary Jack Snyder. Jack
Snyder.
Yeah, son of Zach.
Legendary Jack Snyder. That is not the case. This is going to be a 2-week podcast experience. Now, I didn't get to pose the question to you because of your... I think we can all agree that the interruption was very rude on your part.
I think we were asking important questions.
Okay, I've got some important questions because this is an important interview.
Okay.
Now, week by week, you get on your podcast, you sit down, you go in front of your microphone, and you talk for a while, and then finally, at the very end of the podcast, you bring in what you refer to as the main event.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly what is this event? Can you...
Are you being rhetorical?
No, I want you to explain to me what this main event is, because I don't understand.
It's the thing in the title. It's the show we watch.
Yeah, we watch the TV show, and we talk about the episode, and sort of kind of review it as we go along.
Interesting. And
sort of a jazz style.
Why do you think that's okay?
Well, I mean, plenty of other podcasts do that format. In fact, there's an entire genre of podcast where they just pick one show to recap.
So because other people are doing it, you think it's okay?
Yes.
I mean, we can't be condemned for it.
Yeah, I would say if enough people are doing it, then it's fine.
And is there a reason why you're not using your great skills and abilities to go out and stop some crimes?
I would...
Well, I tried that. I was jailed for assault.
I would argue that we're stopping the crime of bad television being allowed to prosper.
Have you stopped that?
I feel like we've committed some crimes. Like, most weeks we commit a crime in order to watch a show.
So at the end of your podcast, at the very end of the podcast, you do what you call the tune in and the tune out.
Yes.
Where if you like the show, if you like it, you will tell the audience that is in fact a tune-in, and you would recommend that they go ahead and watch that program. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's about.
That's absolutely it. What are you on?
And let me finish the question.
Oh, okay.
And
It sounded like
you do not like the
you
program,
did ask us a question there.
Okay, I've got another question to ask you. You can simmer down there, Swanson. You could just hold on. Okay, calm down. You okay?
Yeah, I guess I'm fine.
You ready to answer the question?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I guess.
If you don't like the show, if you dislike it, if you don't recommend people watch it, you emphatically give it a tune out, correct?
Yeah. Are you genuinely confused about this? Or is this like your producer making you do this?
No, I'm not confused. I understand the concept quite well. I'm just trying to make sure that you can't weasel out of my question because
so this is not the real question?
No, we can all agree that you're very weaselly people.
I would say that's not the
no comment.
That's not the animal that we're most referred to.
Yeah. They call me the Puerto Rican rattlesnake.
So your goal in the podcast is to say this show's good, you should watch this show, or this show's bad, you shouldn't watch this show.
Yeah, I think we've established that is what happens in the show. Yes.
Yet over your podcast runtime, we've tracked your statistics, and in fact, despite your efforts, your futile efforts, the number of shows,
goodness.
The number of shows that you are favorable towards has not increased over time.
Well,
how do you respond to this?
They keep making bad shows, so we have to keep saying that we didn't like them.
You haven't stopped any problem.
Well,
you could be out there on the streets stopping real crimes.
Well, like what sort of crimes do you think we should be stopping?
So what do you think we're qualified to stop?
Okay. I would like you to picture for a moment. You watch television. Imagine a very dislikable man wearing a suit.
I'm looking right at him.
Okay.
Oh!
Okay, I see the mind's eye is opened. This man is committing crimes. He is the boss of crimes.
Is this a confession?
Are you telling us to kill a president? Is that where you go with this?
Are you telling us to kill President Rock?
I'm merely posing a hypothetical of an individual wearing a suit who is not a train guy, we'll say.
Okay.
Trained, so I guess it's not former President Joe Biden.
Yes, so we've kind of drifted away from the topic here. We're talking about a man committing grave crimes. There's a man out there, and while he's doing this, while he's just corrupting the city, doing whatever he likes, you're just sitting by and talking about television?
This sounds like the Voight Comp test from Blade Runner.
Yeah, if we encounter a turtle, are we supposed to turn it over? Or just sort of watch it die?
I mean, we're not the only ones who live in this city either.
Yeah.
So we're not... In fact, isn't there a police force?
What city would that be?
Denver.
Denver. Interesting.
Yeah, so, Denver.
You live in the city of Denver.
That's right, yeah. It
says it right. We've been exiled.
It says it right on the thing. You've been exiled to the city of Denver.
You've recently, allegedly, been exiled to the city of Denver. In fact,
recently, I don't know.
You've added...
it's been like 6 months.
You've added Denver to the title of your podcast some of the time. You've added it to all of your branding.
Yes.
And you claim to be a local Denver podcast.
Yes, we live in half of a house.
That's right. We live in half of a house in the Colorado mountains.
But not a halfway house.
No, this is totally
Please
different.
Stop saying that on Twitter. It's very rude.
And can you name a local restaurant in the city of Denver?
Wendy's.
The Smoky Inn.
Smoky Inn. So I'm not going to accept. I'm not going to accept Wendy's.
Hank's Hamburgers.
Well, we do support local
Hank's
restaurants, including the local franchise of Wendy's.
Hank's Hamburgers, Denver, Colorado. Let's see.
Hank's Hamburgers and Fries.
Yeah.
Hank's Hamburgers and Fries, Denver, Colorado. Okay. So you fabricated the name of a local restaurant in the city of Denver.
I mean, that's its nickname.
Yeah, it's...
Okay, what's its actual name?
I don't know. Everyone calls it that.
Its real name is clearly Hank's. Fuck.
So, I'm here to posit something, and I'd like you to just react to this.
Oh!
I think that you've been lying to your audience.
What?
No.
You're not.
Hold on, I can name another restaurant. I swear. Tables.
Columbine Cafe.
So, there's only two possibilities here. It's either you don't support local restaurants, which is already extremely condemnable.
I mean, it's a pandemic.
He's got you there.
We have to be on the lookout for COVID-21.
Have you heard of delivery?
Well, not all local businesses have that sort of capability set up. And to use
delivery is like
use an app to do it would be taking money away from them.
Yeah, and those apps are highly exploitive. Like, in a way, they are the man with the suit that you want us to kill.
So what you're saying? Well, I didn't say to kill the man.
Well, what do you want us to do about this man?
Yeah, you seem to claim that this man in a suit, who may or may not be the person standing in front of us who is wearing a suit, is doing crimes and is declared the king of them.
Wait, hold on. Do you want us to kill you? Is this what...
I would say you could punch the man a few times, put him in a chokehold.
But then what?
Take him to the police, which is...
we can't do that. That's not legally admissible.
Well, I didn't... Let me finish what I'm suggesting you do. Take him to the police, who is Swanson.
Huh?
What? Huh?
Wait a minute. Is that why there's this police badge under my chair?
Well, yes, it's not a real police badge. It's a costume. So you're going to bring the man to Swanson and have Swanson teach the man a lesson. Scare him straight.
Huh. This is all very...
I don't know. This guy sounds very powerful and not easy to frighten.
Yeah.
It sounds like we would have to do some heinous things to him in order to...
I think if the man were to be told by Swanson, dressed as a police officer, that he is a bad man and he's going to be punished.
Wait a minute. Punished?
So we've in fact established that you're not in the city of Denver, and I'd like to change the topic a little bit here. So you had
allegedly not in the city of Denver.
You had a bit of a marketing campaign going where you defrauded your audience. You told them that there was going to be a, quote, fourth host of TV Tuners.
No, that's not true. We did have a fourth host very briefly before she died.
She did blow up in front of our eyes.
And we did leave that in the recording, which in retrospect was in poor taste.
No one seemed that mad about it, though, to be honest.
And not very much time elapsed before a new guest appeared on the podcast. This guest was referred to as El Gato Bagina, and you referred to her as L for short.
Yeah, well, her name's really long.
Yeah, it would be unwieldy to say it.
Why is your podcast lying on a bed of lies?
Don't you mean laying?
He said what he said.
No. Why would I say laying if I'm calling you liars?
Well, you're saying we're laying on a bed of lies. We're on.
You're on the bed of lies and you're lying.
Yeah.
Well, to explain that one to you, interviewer, if that is your real name, we have to go back to the podcast. All right, so we watched a show this week, and I guess it's time for us to talk about it, huh?
I feel like this is going to be a very important recap.
Yeah, not at all rushed or anything. This week we watched Young Rock. The show, as you might have guessed, follows Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson from a youngster learning about his father's in-ring career to a pro football athlete beginning his own journey to the depths of the pro wrestling world.
Does that mean that when he becomes a pro wrestler, he's Old Rock?
I guess, yeah. Because we never see it.
I guess he would just be normal Rock.
Young Rock stars 3 time-displaced versions of Rock as he...
Time-displaced.
It'd be better. Featured...
That sounds like they're in the wrong location.
Features 3 different time versions of The Rock as he explores his past life. All in his bid to run for the president in 2032. Young Rock can be found on NBC. Guys, was Young Rock did you smell what Young Rock was cooking, or were you legally not allowed to say that phrase?
Yeah, this was a weird one, I'm going to say right off the bat here.
Yeah? Yeah. Maybe the weirdest show we watched all year so far.
It is bold of the show to assume that it's going to be in America in 2035.
2032. That's 2035. I guess 2035 is an election year? No, it is not.
No, it is not.
That's not true.
Unless something really bad happens.
Right. Not true. We made it up.
Which might.
So yeah, no, very bold to assume one that the country exists in a state where there's an election happening, and that technology has
2. The Rock still lives there.
Yes. Also, that technology has moved to the point where tablets are clear,
Which
or
we
that
can already
technology
do.
is not stagnated and started to regress.
Yeah.
And we can definitely already do clear tablets, we just don't, because why?
Why would that? What would that accomplish? Anyway,
It looks slightly more futuristic.
the future of 2032 is not that different from our own world, aside from the fact that enough shit has turned horrible for The Rock to be considered a viable presidential candidate, and that he, I guess, is doing well. We don't really get any idea of what he's doing, what he stands for, who he's even affiliated with, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally just a framing device, and it's a bizarre choice to me because when we're presented with a presidential candidate, we're immediately very critical of their authenticity.
Yes.
So the framing device basically tells us to be highly skeptical of the story they're about to tell us.
And it's weird because
doesn't make
President
it funnier.
Rock, or I guess attempted President Rock, is like
attempted president.
That's what I call presidential candidates from now on.
The court finds you guilty on all counts of attempted presidency.
Yeah, that's what they tried to get Trump with.
But then it was found by the Supreme Court he was in fact president.
Yeah, the Supreme Court ruled 7-3 that he was in fact the president.
Crazy.
They also added a new person to the Supreme Court for that role.
Yeah. It was Joe Biden. He voted in favor.
Yeah, for bipartisanship. So yeah, it's very the President Rock seems to assume that is a thing that people are going to think as well, and that's why he's having this like sit down interview. So there's like not only is it a framing device that is making us skeptical of what he's telling us, but also it's like a How I Met Your Mother-esque, where we're going to watch presumably seasons of him just talking about his life in a single interview.
So is the Rock the real Rock? Does he feel this way? Is that why this program exists, in order to humanize the Rock to the American people?
I guess.
Is this TV show propaganda?
To
build the Rock's dictatorship.
So my brain's a little bit warped, but
yes,
there was a news cycle where
Mark Zuckerberg.
No, there was a news cycle where people were floating Rock as a potential candidate, weren't they? At some point, that actually happened.
That's
right?
why this is. That's why this framing device exists. Yes.
So they took that and they were like, let's just make a whole show where it's about that idea.
I think it's supposed to be a gag, but like a lot of the jokes in this show,
non-existent.
Yeah. There's nothing actually funny that goes on about it. Like they don't play it up like it's a gag. They just play it up like, yeah, this is happening.
Yeah, I almost get the feeling that he actually does want to run for president after watching this, which makes me, very skeptical of everything going on with it.
And the other thing about the show in general is that it definitely feels like a show that The Rock is... I don't know how heavily involved he actually is, but it 100% feels like a show where if they wrote something that made his parents look bad or made him look bad, they would be like, no. Sorry? No. Because everything... There's no tension, right, with anything that happens in this show.
The closest thing to tension is like, is he going to get the girl?
Yeah, will he get his dick sucked? And
to TBD, I guess.
Will he get HPV from that homeless man?
So let's just get into it, I guess. This first episode, the pilot called Workin' the Gimmick. Rock flashes back. He's talking with Randall Park of Ant-Man fame. And
yes, the titular Ant-Man.
That's right.
Himself.
The titular Jimmy Woo. Ant-Man is not here. Randall Park is interviewing him. He's playing himself. They are supposed to have like light banter with each other, but it's mostly just a bunch of jokes that don't land.
Yeah, the closest thing to being funny is making like a funny face, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not hard to say. So cut to young Rock is there. It's the youngest version of Rock too. It's him as a like 8-year-old or something like that. He's hanging out with it. He's watching his dad wrestle. First wrestler sighting. I think I got to get the most obvious one out of the way here. Rocky Johnson dead.
Rest in peace.
I thought it was obvious because the literal first episode ends with an in memoriam for him, but he died last year, I believe.
Oh, rest in peace.
Dang.
So yeah, one of the first wrestler on screen dead. So Rocky Johnson is wrestling in the ring.
Well, The Rock is the first wrestler on screen.
Oh, I guess that's true, and he's alive and well.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Nothing but respect for my president.
My living president.
So yeah, what we get is essentially, hey, look at all these old wrestlers.
Yeah, like they bring them into the show like they're going to be like a major presence in it. Like they even give them like flashy title cards.
Yeah, it's like in Wolf of Wall Street where you get to meet all the guys.
Yeah, and they have like 2 lines each.
Sort of like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes. Like, I mean, say what you will, but at least Andre the Giant gets, like, 2 scenes. By the way, the guy that one reviewer was correct. This person who's playing Andre the Giant is not at all convincing.
Yeah, they should have cloned Andre the Giant.
Well, for one, I don't buy that he's actually Andre the Giant because he's not, like, drinking just entire bottles of wine to try and get himself drunk.
I should have gotten that NBA guy from John Wick 3.
Yeah. Also, obviously, Andre the Giant shows up here. He's dead. Been dead for a very long time. Iron Sheik is also here. Alive. Still alive.
Well, yeah.
Oh, he's on Twitter.
Yeah. Truly, Allah is merciful.
They have the Junkyard Dog make an appearance, dead. He's been dead for a bit.
Well, yeah, dogs don't live that long.
The Wild Samoans show up here. Both of them, Sika and Afa, alive and well.
Congratulations.
In fact, Sika's son, Roman Reigns, one of the most popular wrestlers in WWE.
Oh, what a guy.
Allegedly popular.
Well, yeah, and then the second episode, there's some other wrestlers who show up. I'll wait until we get to that.
Rowdy Piper.
Dead. Ric Flair, amazingly still alive.
Yeah, I think he's cyborg now. There's no way a human heart could withstand his lifestyle.
No, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Imagine if, like, for whatever reason, they just had Chris Benoit in this.
As his running mate.
Despite him and The Rock never really, like, being in the same, like, I guess they interacted maybe, but.
Jeffrey Epstein found alive with Chris Benoit and Tupac.
Like they just like put him in as like the high school best friend.
And me and my buddy Chris.
Listen, I think we need to have a token white friend for The Rock. Can we put Chris Benoit in here?
He's unproblematic.
I don't see the problem.
He's well liked.
Nothing interesting happened. Nothing terrible happened with him, rather.
Yeah, young Benoit. That's going to be the spinoff, right?
Oh, I would love that. Get the producer of Hannibal to do it.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And Mads Mikkelsen is Hannibal Lecter doing a psychoanalysis of Chris Benoit. You keep.
What is this alternate history where he's arrested?
You keep going to the top rope, hoping that you can meet God. And yet he forsakes you every time.
Well, he's arrested, but he breaks out and then...
Oh my god. Yeah. And then Danny Glover has to hunt him down.
You and I are not so different, Chris. One kills families, the other eats people. Anyway, yeah, so back over in Rocktown, this, like, 8-year-old... What's the plot line here? There isn't one, right? His dad wants to hang out with the guys, and that's it. It's
basically just establishing that we're immediately kind of undercutting what he said was that, like, he said he wasn't born into it. And then it's just like, oh yeah, I was surrounded by, like, extremely famous people who are all wrestlers.
You merely adopted the ring. I was born in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, he literally said that, like, maybe I misunderstood what he said, but didn't he say he wasn't born into it and he had to work for it?
And then it shows him literally being around wrestlers his entire life.
Yeah.
So yeah, cut to teenage Rock. His dad is no longer making big money, so now they're making less money, and he has to steal a lot of stuff. They hit this angle really hard for some reason. Like, they really want you to believe that the Rock, of all people, was capable of shoplifting.
Well, that's the thing, is that the framing device they use to give us this just makes me think, like, well, they're just trying to make him authentic by doing this.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make him look cool. Still.
Yeah.
So when he does run for president, they can't use that against him.
Yeah.
Did he get caught?
I have to imagine. Why would he?
I don't know. I've never heard Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's life story before. And I can't tell if this is authentic or
apparently
what.
No one has.
Yeah, evidently, because he's revealing the truth.
There's no way it's all true. It's impossible.
Like, is this a TV show or is this an ESPN documentary? Like, am I watching Young Rock, the television show, or is this his version of The Last Dance?
That's the strangest thing about this show is that it literally is just kind of gaslighting us a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, very much.
This show is violence.
So Teenage Rock is the one who gets the most focus on the 2 episodes that we are in. I guess.
Oh, Big Rock.
No, Big Rock is the footballer. Teenage Rock is like the middle.
Oh, I guess you're right.
The middle in between here.
That's confusing. It's like a teen Gohan and adult Gohan situation here because they're both kind of wrongly labeled.
Like Big Rock in this and Little Kid Rock.
Yeah, and President Rock is Mystic Gohan.
Oh, we don't want to say Kid Rock, okay? Kid Rock is not in this show.
Okay, Child Rock and Big Rock.
Namek Rock.
Stop, please stop. Neither of them had a story, really.
No. Teenage Rock's whole deal here is that he's the one with the story, and then he's the only one in the second episode. So Teenage Rock in this first one, he wants to get a car to impress this girl. So he buys a car from someone for $100. How does he just have $100? His family's poor, but he has $100 lying around.
Yeah, he probably sold some crack.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess it's hinting at stolen goods, probably.
It would have made it a little more believable if it talked about why he had the money.
Yeah.
Follow the money.
Where's it go? Did Vince McMahon give it to him?
Dwayne Johnson, where did he get that $100 from? Nobody knows.
So maybe he got a small loan of $100 from his dad.
From Attorney General Bill Barr's father.
No, maybe he was selling crack, and the person who bought it from him, Chris Benoit.
Oh no! I thought you were gonna say waffles.
No, so we get introduced to this man, Waffle, who is a homeless man who lives in the back of the car that Dwayne just bought.
Yeah, this is something they just made up.
And a year from now.
They made this up, right? They just completely made this up. This is not his life story. This is completely
No, it's
fake.
a joke. It's a fun
tricked.
gag where there's a homeless guy who teaches him a valuable lesson about family.
Well, actually, he dies before he can do it. Anything.
Yeah, that's not a joke. That's just like...
No.
Just like trickery. They're just deceiving us.
When the informant guy in The Sopranos drops dead right before he's about to pin Tony on a murder, that's funny.
Well, are they deceiving us, Kyoran? I mean, we were going into this knowing it's a TV show. I don't know. Were you actually expecting The Rock's backstory?
Well, as we learned in Videodrome, anything we see on the TV screen is real in our brains.
Well, that's the problem with this show. Is like, it's giving us a biography of this man, but we just don't know which details are true and which ones are false, except for when they're really obvious.
Yeah, it's like Netflix's Narcos.
So anyway, it's a very bleak ending. Waffle dies and he just leaves the car there.
Yeah, he lies about his involvement because he doesn't want to get involved with the cops.
A bleak ending, but also the closest thing to the closest thing to something that made me laugh in these two episodes.
Yeah, he's just gone and buried.
Yeah.
Sort of like Android 16.
And this had no psychological impact on his character.
Evidently, no. Well, I don't know. The President Rock does say that every time he passes a Waffle House, he throws up some deuces to the sky in tribute to his boy Waffle.
What does that mean, throwing up deuces?
He put up 2 fingers to the sky in tribute to a dead friend.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not a psychological impact. That's just remembering somebody who you talked to once.
Yeah. Well...
So wait, is Waffles like The Rock's corn pop?
Yes. He's his... If we want to go even farther back, he's his Joe the Plumber.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the character of Waffle was actually, like, pretty cool representation of, like, a homeless person,
until he died.
Of me 5 years from now.
Well, yeah, until he died, which was... I don't even understand... Like, why did he die? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
They should have just kept him.
Yeah, he was just
know what? Have young Rock, teenage Rock, get mentored by a homeless man and just act like that's what actually happened to the Rock. That's funny to me.
And then sometimes imply he's magic.
Yes.
See, like maybe just have him teleport around unexplained.
That's the problem with this show that I was trying to get at, is that like they killed him off because clearly he wasn't a real man and he can't actually be a main character in the series because he wasn't real. But that just kind of weakens the show. Why couldn't they just make a very strictly fictionalized version of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong about that, I suppose. I'm pretty sure that's the thing. I feel like The Rock's girlfriend probably isn't real, right? Her name definitely probably wasn't Karen.
Ironic.
Probably not.
So, yeah, the last bit of story, I guess, in this pilot episode is adult football Rock goes to play football for the University of Miami, and his dad talks a big game to everybody in there, so they embarrass him.
He has to lift. He has to lift to recover his honor.
And everyone is real impressed with that.
And then The Rock explains directly to the interviewer the moral of the episode.
That's right.
Or I think Randall Park does it. And then The Rock just that's right, brother.
It's funny because they talk about what working the gimmick means. So essentially in the show, they actually straight up mentioned in the show,
weird.
Kyorain, what you're talking about, which is that essentially the gimmicking is a grift. And The Rock realized that the best way to grift is to just be yourself, but way more.
So what is real and what isn't?
So if he says be yourself but crank it up to 11, that means you're not grifting anymore.
I don't know. I feel that's the thing though. How you can't tell how authentic that is because is
The Rock is like Char Aznable.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I decided to do some important research here, and apparently, allegedly, this waffle story is real. Except for the part where he dies.
Oh, what the
So they
fuck?
added in the homeless guy. They added in some punching down on a homeless man just for the shits and giggles.
Yeah, like, apparently he did buy, I mean, according to these random sites on the internet, obviously I can't verify this. It'd be very dangerous for me to say that this is a sure thing, but supposedly, yeah, it's based on a true story where he did buy a car and there was a homeless man in it. So, yeah, our reality is held together very tenuously, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, very much. It very much sounds like it. So, yeah, let's get to the second episode here, huh? So, basically, this second episode establishes, I guess, that future episodes are only going to be focused on one rock at a time. Probably a smart move, because that pilot episode is literally nothing. It's just a collection of, like, stories that don't have an end.
Yeah, it's definitely just like, especially the one where he was a young boy. That was really super nothing. It was just
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
And I watched that like an hour before we recorded this.
It was just a bunch of anecdotes.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so...
I think he said that wrestling was fake and he got chokeslammed by one of his
Oh, yeah,
uncles.
Andre the Giant was about to, like, eat him. He says wrestling's fake, and Andre the Giant picks him up and is like, "You don't say that about wrestling. Wrestling's not fake. Don't say that."
I'll show you something real, and he puts him in the torture
Yeah.
rack, but accidentally breaks him in half.
So yes, this is focused on teenage Rock, who is still trying to get with the titular Karen of the Karens, I guess, which is a group of girls who are all named Karen.
The Karen Force.
We cut to we learn that his dad is no longer working for Vince McMahon, so he is in a sad state. This is like very depressing, right? His dad's whole deal.
Yeah, it's pretty tragic.
And the show doesn't play it like it's depressing. Is the thing. Like I guess they don't really comment on it because The Rock, every time his dad is brought up in the present day, he's like, "It's my dad." And
he's my dad.
So, like, I guess, like, it feels depressing, but the show is not presenting it as a depressing thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think they take it at least somewhat seriously. They didn't play it up for laughs, so I guess it was just kind of like in the middle there. I think the way he described it was he was not ready to accept that he was not famous anymore, something like that. So they at least acknowledge like
it's
kind of
it's okay because The
part
Rock became way more famous.
Yeah, he made it up for his parents by being more famous than anyone else in his family ever will be.
Either of them.
I do have a problem with this episode, and it did annoy me to no end. Maybe you guys noticed it, but probably not. So they show when Rock's dad is talking up one of his matches with Ric Flair. They show Ric Flair, and that's the worst wig I've ever seen in my goddamn life.
Yeah, I didn't notice. Sorry.
That dude's wig is just like they found like some cheap blonde hair and just glued it to him. Was like, you look kind of like Ric Flair.
Ric Flair, there he is, folks. Now let's finish this and go home, guys, please.
So yeah, they the Rock's trying to impress this girl. This is baffling to me. So this is the late 80s, I think, and this woman is impressed by wrestling.
I guess so.
Hulk Hogan was big. I don't know. So I guess the idea of you knowing someone whose dad is a pro wrestler does sound cool. But I don't know if, I don't know if I'm a...
She doesn't seem to know what wrestling is when she sees it, though. I think she's just a star fucker.
She didn't seem to understand what was going on.
Yeah, a lot of this just doesn't, I don't know. I'm not sure what the whole deal is here. So he takes her to his wrestling show after his dad talks it up. It turns out to be in the middle of a flea market. There's like 10 people there. His dad,
Sad.
yeah, it's very sad, very depressing. His dad still apparently has the magic in the ring, even when he's fighting someone who's named the Condor?
Aquaman.
He was like the seagull or something.
The gull. That was it. The gull. And yeah, he's fighting this clearly like third-rate wrestler, and she falls into the magic of the ring. And yeah, it's like I guess it's like a nice little heartwarming story there. That ends with him beating up someone for making fun of his dad.
It was actually.
Well, that kid was an asshole. I'm glad he died.
It was actually not a bad sequence, but it was not funny.
That's the thing with the show overall.
Again, the show doesn't know what it wants to do.
Yeah, I feel like overall, this show, Young Rock, is like The Rock himself. Charming, maybe fun in parts, but rarely funny.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just the modern day image of The Rock. Just a nice, affable guy who is rarely funny.
And if you try to describe what he does, you're just like, he used to wrestle and now I guess he acts.
And maybe he'll be president someday.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah, it's real simple storytelling. It's like nice. I guess I wasn't having like a horrible time watching this. It's just like, it doesn't feel like anything. It doesn't feel like I'm watching anything useful.
New?
It's weird to be sold on the concept of The Rock.
Yeah, what do I need to be sold on? It's The Rock.
For voting for him.
He's essentially the closest thing to a modern day Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I have to be sold on him?
Yeah, the thing about this show is I swear he actually wants to be president.
I mean, maybe someday. I mean, I guess...
Which is not not the impression we want from this show, I don't think. We should think like, oh, this is a funny show, not like, does he want to be president? Like, actually?
I guess it's true.
Yeah,
This is the equivalent of
show?
If it was like 1990 and Arnold Schwarzenegger came up with a TV show where he was running for governor of California. And we were all like, does he want to be governor?
I think this is like, The Rock is like subconsciously filling this void that Americans have. We don't have a mythology anymore. Like, we have Marvel movies, but that's not really as authentic. And I think Young Rock is like subconsciously filling that void by giving us heroes and whatnot.
But the hero is just The Rock.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Much to think about. Best wishes.
Anyway, this is a tune out for me.
Yeah, it's a tune out for me.
So my opinion on this show is I was entertained by it. I wasn't bored at any point, really, but it was kind of muddled, and again, it's ostensibly a comedy, and I think my laugh count was like, what was your guys' laugh count?
Like half.
Like 0?
Yeah, I think my laugh count was like, I may have gone like once, so...
that's 100% more than me.
How do you measure that,
you had a negative
mine
half
was 0.
laugh?
Mine was 0, and yours was 1.
That's not 100% of 0.
Okay, what is it then, Mr. Mathematician?
You can't multiply anything by 0 and get a number.
No, you
other than 0.
Then I guess it's 0% more. We had the same rating.
That's crazy.
So you should also tune out.
That's going to be a tune out, but it's definitely not like the strongest tune out I've ever given, I'll say.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, so that sounds like it's a tune out for Young Rock. And that'll about do it for this week's episode of the show.
I have an important question. This is the last question in the interview.
Oh!
And this is the most difficult question I have for you. Are you prepared to die?
Oh.
Well, I've been thinking about it every time I go to sleep.
I'm not prepared to die.
I was asking this question because I, in fact, have sent a man.
Well, what's he do?
Does Swanson need to dress up like a police officer for this man?
Yeah, like what am I doing here?
Oh, I thought you just understand what I meant by that.
I mean, you can send men to do lots of things.
Yeah.
Human beings are very versatile.
Lots of men do lots of things.
Let's use context clues here.
Well, I mean, okay.
I asked you if you were prepared to die.
Okay.
And then after that, I said the man. Now, based on the information in the conversation, what do you think that man is on his way to do?
Well, why is he coming here to do it? That seems like a poor plan on your part.
Why don't you just do it yourself?
Yeah.
What?
Why would you say this during the interview?
Yeah, it's a very odd part to, like...
Especially if it's your final question. I mean, you're going to have to cut it out.
Why would I cut it out?
Because you just confessed to conspiracy to commit murder.
What?
Yeah.
No. The man's a bodyguard.
Oh, to protect us or to protect you?
I came here just in time, Mum.
It's British Guyson.
It's me. I'm here to protect you. I'm your bodyguard.
Wow, he's so dreamy. I think I'm going to start a salacious affair with him.
Please don't, Mum. Not interested.
Hold on, I gotta get this.
My plan is working.
What was that?
And that concludes important interviews. We've had a very delightful interview with the host of TV Tuners, and next week we're going to have a beautiful interview with a war criminal. Goodbye.
Oh, that's just the end of the show. Come with me, Mum, if you want to live.
Okay.
Alright, that's it for this week's episode of TV Tuners. Tune in next week for more TV goodness. Until then, keep watching. Bye. It's over.
I found him.
Oh, hey folks, it's time for the TV Tuners Denver Fact of the Week. Did you know that Stairmaster has stood atop a tall building in Denver and just looked?
Yes, the Sears Tower.